Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part number 51 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. In today's episode, I actually have kind of a little bit of an interesting strategy here. So Seliph wasn't able to promote quite yet, but I will be able to get him to promotion before some meaningful parts of this chapter, I hope. What this does mean is that I'm likely going to have Lana stay back in order for her to warp Seliph. So I'm going to have to return Seliph, and then I'm going to have to warp him. I think that's pretty much the only way I'm going to be able to do this. Arthur was not able to promote either, and he did finish the arena. So he has a talk with Fee. I think this talk is going to give them their lover points to become lovers. Once that happens, Fee is going to be able to give him all her gold and then go back and fight through the arena. So what this will do is it will allow Arthur to repair his Forsetti basically for free here. I actually think I should just go ahead and do that right now, because if I get all her gold, it's not really going to be that big of a deal. I'm not even going to get all. I'm just going to get, around 30-something thousand. Or, yeah. And then she'll be able to go back in the arena and all that rigmarole. Most everybody else was able to pass through the arena pretty much with flying colors, a breeze, with ease. The only 3 units left that I have to go through the arena with right at this very moment are Leaf, Nana, and Finn. So, of course, I'm going to be bringing Seliph's Brave Sword because he needs the more powerful Brave Sword to deal with certain very powerful enemies coming up this chapter. But the other Brave Sword is going to basically be permanently something Leaf holds. So first and foremost, I need to see how far you can move. Right here. So I can just put you right here. And then have a little chat. You need to be careful, Fee. I know you can fly and all, but that doesn't mean you should just take off by yourself.
Oh, are my ears playing tricks on me? Could it be that you're actually worried about me, Arthur?
Yeah, I suppose.
Who knew you had it in you? I would have never guessed that you're even able to worry about anyone but yourself. I might have to rethink everything just a bit.
Well, you're something of a special case.
Huh?
Never mind. Anyway, just don't do anything too rash, alright? See ya.
Arthur.
So this gives plus 3 HP to Fee. And are they paired yet? Yes, they are. This is awesome. So I'm going to be able to do my strategy here. I didn't know for a fact that they were going to pair immediately right there. So this is very good news, in my humble opinion. Now, I do have to deal with, of course, the rest of this arena. First is going to be Nana, because for her sake, she needs to use the Brave Sword first to get through as much of the arena as she possibly can. I also have to make sure that she doesn't just get immediately KO'd. So I'm going to enter here. One thing I love to do, and I know this is going to seem kind of like superficial, unnecessary in a bit, but I love putting these items and stuff in such a way that they're in order from top to bottom. And I especially like doing this with staff users. The reason being is because staff users automatically go to the staff on top of the inventory. And obviously, this can be a bit of a hassle. So I'm going to go ahead and sell the Iron Sword because she doesn't need it. She does have a good magic growth, so it could be potentially good to give her the Bolt Sword or the Wind Sword, actually. I think the Wind Sword would be better because the fact of the matter is that it's just a better weapon. Okay. Only 3 uses. And the Brave Sword fight begins. So yeah, I'm going to give her the Wind Sword, and the Bolt Sword is just going to go on Patty. this is pretty necessary because Patty only needs the magical swords to steal. She doesn't need the magical swords because of combat. Nana, that's such a terrible level up. What even is that? I do feel like fighting another round with Nana, but I have to go ahead and repair the broken sword. This is going to chip her funds quite a bit, but it's actually more important that I chip her funds than Leaf. Brave sword. So my strategies with all of these units is I would prefer to actually use the busted Brave Sword that has a bunch of KOs on it, so that Nana is guaranteed to go through the arena. Because she just is. She's guaranteed to go through the arena with a crit Brave Sword. With 79, you know. Basically 30% crit. It's basically a killer sword in any other game. That can attack twice per attack, which is, again, an insane boon to have. She'll get some of her gold back from selling the Brave Sword back because she doesn't need to keep it. Alright, very nice. Very nice. Let alone the fact that the Brave Sword just really helps, especially in the arena, because everybody gets a base of either 10 or 20 avoid in the arena. Something I've not mentioned before, but it is something that everybody gets in the arena, both player and enemy. And I think this is to make the arena more consistent for you to beat. Because if the enemy always has 100 hit, there's no way to change the RNG. Like, for instance, this fight right here. There is actually a way to make sure that she always wins this fight by changing the RNG in such a way that she just doesn't get hit. So a thing I could do here is actually go through the arena, through this particular fight, with like the Earth Sword or something. And if I were to do that right now, as long as she's still doubling, she should get a decent amount of healing. Ah, she missed her first hit. Ah, so it's not even, it's actually kind of a pathetic amount of healing. I wasn't looking at his defense. So yeah, her best bet actually through this arena is the Brave Sword. I absolutely, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have to reset because I absolutely do not want her to be on low HP for this upcoming battle. She will just get picked off, especially because there's times where the enemy's range is not so visible. She has to dodge another hit, and she did. Nice. And so I didn't even have to reset. Cool. Wasting time that would have done. There's just enemies that, you know, you're not going to see particular ranges at times, and then she's going to get KO'd or hit or so on and so forth, and just not going to be good. Yeah, this is a pretty easy fight for her. 22 hit means that he's likely to miss most of his hits. She will die if she's hit twice, though. Or will she? Yeah, she will. She will. Doesn't matter. He didn't even hit her once. Now, without the Brave Sword with crit, there is just absolutely no way she's beating Xenon, the Sword Master. So I'm not even going to try this, unfortunately. It is time for me to sell the Brave Sword back and repair a couple of things. Now, I'm only going to repair the return. The rest of this should actually be fine. And then I'll go right here for a moment. Enter. So, the pawnbroker. I'm going to sell both of these weapons because I don't need them anymore. The Brave Sword can be purchased alongside the Paragon Band, which is nice. That's what I was kind of hoping for here. So with this little combination, Leaf has everything he needs to be pretty darn good. It would be better if he had, of course, the Brave Sword with crit, but Leaf does have a crit chance innate with his skills. So even though it's not going to be high right now, it's only going to be around like 13% or so. I can't remember exactly his skill. It's still going to be decent with the fact that he's going to quad most of these enemies, let alone the fact that he got +1 skill, and it's actually 15% chance to crit. So I'm basically relying on the Brave Sword's good might and hit, and Leaf's ability to proc some hits, because he could also proc Adept on top of his Brave Sword usage, which would allow him to attack even more times. And then you saw getting a crit is just pretty much an instant win for the guy, because he is pretty strong at this current moment. Very nice, very nice. He has a 56 might at this current moment with a crit. Alright, so only level 10. He actually has a long way to go, but as you can see, he has statistics basically around the levels of Rekessis when she promoted. And he's not even promoting yet. And he does get the absolutely insane promotional gains that she got. So imagine this Leaf with +7 strength, skill, speed, and defense right now. And he still has 9 levels to go. This guy is a monster. I love Leaf. Probably my favorite unit in the 2nd generation. Overall, I would say that Arthur with the Forseti, especially once promoted, is better, but Leaf is more fun, and he has more utility and more intrigue with him, in my humble opinion. Perfect. Another beautiful level up. Now, whether Leaf is going to beat Xenon is a whole different can of worms. I'm not sure that he can beat him at this current moment. He will be able to beat everybody else, though. Especially if he's getting crits. That just saved a couple of uses. Hopefully the Brave Sword isn't broken yet, so I can fight the whole of Xenon fight without having to worry about repairing it. Ah, it is broken, so I do have to repair it. That's unfortunate. It's okay, though. He doesn't really need gold at this moment, just because he has the Paragon Band. He has everything he needs. Once he promotes, he's going to be able to sell the Pursuit Band and the Paragon Band, so he's going to get a ton of gold from that, which is actually going to be very important, because he needs a lot of gold in order to be able to buy some things to make his next class much more useful. Alright, so this is like a guaranteed victory. Very nice. And that's another level up. For Leaf, he is ending this off at level 14, with some pretty fantastic stats, all in all. Blacksmith. I'm going to go ahead and repair up the Brave Sword. And sit next to Nana. So I don't think these two have a conversation right now, which they do not. But they just need to pair some more. So at this current moment, if he were able to promote right now, he would have capped strength. He would have 25 skill. He would have 22 speed, +5. So he'd actually have the cap, but only because he has the +5 on the speed ring. And then he would have 26 defense. So he is so close to his caps. Remember, all of these caps are 27 apiece. His resistance and magic cap at 22, and luck caps at 30 for every unit in this game. So the man is already kind of like incredibly insane. Something that I really appreciate. Now, the arena for Finn is a little bit of a can of worms here. I think he's going to be able to finish most of it, if not all of it, except for maybe Xenon. And the reason why he might not finish Xenon is because even with the Slim Lance, he's likely to be doubled by the Swordmaster. Though, depending on how much damage he's taking, he could end up being able to just win on Miracle alone, which would kind of be pretty darn awesome, because Xenon again is like it's his hardest fight here. Xeon is a unit that either you have the Brave Sword and can instantly KO, or it's luck of the draw. And Finn, with the Silver Lance, is doing such an insane amount of damage right now that he kind of just laughs in the face of all this danger. Lewis the Myrmidon. Of course, I think yeah, I'm getting doubled here. Finn doesn't care, though. Finn has 100 hit. All right. Rank 5, Mulder, the War Mage. And Finn is actually going to double here. So how you can tell when mounted units are going to double in the arena or double in general, but just at a glance, is how they attack. That jumping in attack means that he is much faster than his enemy. And we'll double. Very nice. No Pavis procs from Gizmont. Unfortunately, I'm going to overflow in gold, so I need to repair some stuff. I guess I can keep the Horse Layer on Finn. It's not like it's useful on anybody else, honestly. There are no other weapons he would want. Steel Lances are pointless at this point in the game. Alright, so I guess I just go through the arena and see if I can beat the final fight. Rank number 7, and of course I'm going to use the Slim Lance. So actually I have a pretty reasonable chance to KO here, and especially with the fact that I'm using the Slim Lance. So I have as much avoid as possible. And oh wow, I was taken into perfect miracle range. So I would have won regardless. I could have been using something as terrible as the Horse Layer, and I still would have won. Yeah, Finn definitely doesn't need to worry about his gold, particularly. All right, so next turn, I don't know if I want to buy the Bolt Sword quite yet. It would be a decent utility on Nana for her to have the Bolt Sword rather than just the Earth Sword. She's not going to get any higher than C rank in staves, so humble opinion here. Mend and Return are the only staffs that are going to be on her, so her having a third weapon isn't even that big of a deal taking up inventory space, especially because I don't really look at her. I'm going to sell the Wind Sword. I'm going to buy the Bolt Sword. I don't really look at her healer utility as the most important thing of her, at least in the early game, that is. Or in the late game. Okay, I'm going to take all these. I'm going to sell that Iron Sword. Units such as Patty don't need these kinds of weapons. She's never going to be in combat regardless. Alright. So I did make a mistake, though. I could have put these two in such a way... Well, actually, no, I couldn't have, because I needed Fee to move there. Where can I put Seliph? He does have everything he needs. Yes, he does. Okay, I can put Seliph right here. That's pretty freaking fantastic. Ares can go right here. And a dance for these three, which is going to be very nice. Seliph can move up as much as possible. The Bolt Sword will just sit around until I do happen to be able to buy it with my Nana, because I think Nana would make very good use of it, honestly. I'm going to give gold. That's like the most important part of this little situation here that I needed to take care of, giving that gold. This basically means that from this point forward, I can just use the Forseti with impunity, because I'm going to be getting a very important item this particular chapter that makes it so that it's basically game over for that weapon. I can use it whenever. I'm going to get 100 kills on it too, which is pretty darn insane. If you think about it, 100 kills on that particular weapon just means guaranteed KOs, guaranteed crits. You're just winning, all in all. All right. I can mend you up, give a little experience to Julia. That's pretty nice. It does help to leave units low on HP at the beginning of chapters, but I don't think it matters so much, so I'm just going to usually just move on out and not really care. Alright, so I'm unsure what I want to do with Lana. I might want to move her out some, because if I'm not mistaken, she does have... Lana does have the Restore, and I think that's going to come in handy at certain points in this chapter. First, I have to deal with Mohammed, his Brave Bow and Brave Lance General Self, as well as a Fortify Wheeling Priest and a bunch of units around him. These guys aren't really that big of a threat because they all just have steel weapons, but they can pose an annoyance at times, that's for sure. I need to get everybody in position here. Larcey and Ulster are just going to sit in this castle, and so is Tinny. They are of no virtual use to me right now, which is sad. It's a shame, but I need units that are actually of use. So if I get enough KOs over here with Seliph, I can just warp him back with Lana right away, which is pretty much what I'm going to have to do to make sure that he gets his promotion. He needs his promotion as soon as possible. Move in on Ulster Castle. We've nothing to fear from these rebels. If anyone dares to question my command, come forth and allow me to relieve you your neck of your head. No volunteers? Good. Attack. So Muhammad is kind of like one of those. Now, this has happened before at this point, but he is obviously the most notable example of this. He is actually using a reused palette, or I should say a reused portrait, not palette. And that reused portrait is of Chagall.
God, everything's ready, man. We tear through the Ulster's defenses in one fell swoop. We'll not let Muhammad's men put us to shame.
And here comes Ovo. So there were other instances, like Harold, for instance, in the first chapter of the second generation, of reused portraits. I think Muhammad is like the worst example of it in the game. He's literally he's a reused portrait of one of the main characters in this game. And of course, you've got Bomba, Fatla, and Iryu, as well as the Pegasus sisters are basically just palette swaps of each other, in the sense that they're palette swaps of the same portrait.
It is time then. Fatla, Iryu, shall we proceed? We've no room for error this time.
And of course, some guys are going to burn some villages. Alright. So the problem with this fight here is you do have to be careful of too many units ganging up on somebody like Seliph. It would be really nice if Seliph was promoted. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think that would make this a whole lot better of a situation. For the time being, though... Alright, I can put you there. what I could do is, I think what I'm going to do is I could let these guys come in and fight my units, and then I will move in on them. So, with that being said, Leicester is just going to go right here. The rest of my units are going to get ready for the upcoming battle. Fee needs to go back into the castle. I'm going to dance with you. And Lean can go right there. Dermot can sit right next to Lana. Oify can wait right here. I'm trying to set this up so that my units will be able to attack seamlessly on the next turn, is my hope. Alright. Leaf, Finn, and Nana actually have quite the struggle coming up. So these guys all have javelins. And the best way to deal with them that I have found is to use a magical weapon on one of your units, or like the javelin. So I'm probably going to end up using the javelin on Finn. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to buy the bolt sword with Leaf. Specifically, oh, the wind sword, I mean, because I can get that back. That's nice. This is going to seem like a bit of a waste of gold, especially because I don't want it to stay on him permanently. But the reason why I'm doing this is so that he can mop up the rest of the KOs. I don't think... Okay, so these guys with javelins are going to get doubled by Finn. Finn with the javelin is going to have 30 attack. So that's going to be 19 times 2. That's going to be okay. I think that's pretty fine. I just don't want Ovo to be able to fight him at the same time, which I don't have to worry about. That's nice. Finn can wait right there and lure in the enemies. And I think this is pretty good. Pretty good setup here. Over the next couple of turns, Connaught's Ovo as well as Muhammad are just going to be immediately decimated by the swarm of units that I have in this vicinity. Yeah, I was expecting a hit here, but Leicester finished him off, so it's not that big a deal. And like I said, these guys are all just going to get struck twice by Finn, which is nice. They're going to be left on low enough HP that Leaf is going to be a better target. Or that Leaf is going to be able to take them all out and get the experience points. And that in itself is going to make this a very great strategy here. Magic, skill, speed, luck, defense, all these things. Amazing. I think Finn promoted is a very good thing to do in this particular gen, because if he's not promoted, I don't think he will double these units. The javelin just weighs so much. Granted, I think he only needs... Well, he only needs to have a 12 speed or higher, and I'm pretty sure he can get that very, very easily. Alright, the rest of these units are just going to keep on moving. Yeah, there's some healers. That's unfortunate. Nothing I can do about that, though. At least not right at this second. And Ovo will sit right there. Bomba, Fatla, and Iryu are coming as well. And these villages must be reached in a reasonable amount of time. Otherwise, you're going to lose out on some pretty great loot. Alright, so that great loot that you would miss out on is right here. And this village has a power ring. Definitely necessary. I usually put that on Seliph for a little while. It's not necessary to be on Seliph. There are other units that it works with much better, in my humble opinion, because Seliph just doesn't need it, especially because he crits constantly with his good old Brave Sword. And then this village right here has the Thief band. This village needs to be reached by Arthur. It's one of the reasons why I would personally love it if Arthur was promoted. However, it is that time of episode. I unfortunately have to bid you all a farewell. There's a lot to do. I have a lot of castles to deal with, and enemies everywhere. And as you'll notice, Bloom is missing something. I wonder why that could be. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.